This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Are all right. Yeah. Depends how she looks like. Anyway, all right. Remember, you can reach out to the great people at AmericanDreamLending.com. Yves Shams, baby, they can help you out right now, as always. And there he is, relaxing. And so today you're relaxing in the couch. Today's couch day, right? Is that what I'm seeing?
Yeah, I didn't feel like getting off the couch, so I didn't.
It's a beautiful thing when you can. It's just being Joe Schad is just, it's life. It's beautiful. It's just awesome. I was just talking about the Kyrie Irving thing, and we see it in all walks of sport. And the easy thing, obviously, and the obvious thing to say is, yeah, he's going to get fined, and yeah, he was wrong for the middle finger. There's no doubt about that. But I was talking about there's a part of me that can understand him too, because unfortunately we now live in a world that people feel just because they paid a ticket, they can be as abusive as they want to you at any time. And this happens in all sports. You know what I mean? I don't know if you saw the Kyrie Irving situation, but I'm sure you've covered many cases where players haven't been treated, fairly at times by fan bases and stuff like that. Your thoughts on that when you see that?
Yeah, there are certain places that fans shouldn't go. Just utilizing common decency and self-respect. There are too many times where fans say things to athletes that they would never, ever, ever say to them on the street or in the grocery store. Never. I mean, even journalists. I remember in my last gig, some guy came up to me and he was like, "Listen, man, I really have to apologize for all those things that I said to you on Twitter." And I'm like, "Well, first of all, I have no idea who you are and what you said. But why did you say all those?" I looked it up. It was a bunch of very nasty things. Why did you say all those things to me on social media that you never would have said in person? And so, yeah, I think Kyrie Irving. I'm not a huge fan of Kyrie Irving.
Me neither.
But,
Me neither.
Yeah, because I don't like the way he talks about journalists as being pawns and things like that.
Yeah. He's a schmuck.
So he's disrespectful.
Yeah, no, he's a putz.
Yeah.
There's no doubt he's a putz. But I, to a certain extent, I have to understand him a little bit, because there's this free reign all of a sudden in our society, because you bought a ticket, and you feel like the right to, you can say whatever you want. You can call him the N-word, and you can call his mother this and his wife this and his daughter that, his son, and no, you don't earn that. You don't have that right. No, you don't. And so, the thing is, what happened to booze and what happened to you suck? That was normal. You know what I mean? that was kind of accepted. Okay, you can move on. Booze and you suck. Okay, but we take it now that we sound like the defensive and offensive line players at the line of scrimmage. That's a whole different world there. We're not allowed in that world. You know what I'm saying? Those guys are in a different,
Didn't LeBron James, who's, as professional as it gets, didn't he lose his cool during the season because someone said something about a car crash and he hopes his kid is in a car crash? Even
I
LeBron
forgot
James
what exactly, but I remember he
something
lost
like
it.
that.
Yeah. And I don't have a problem with that. LeBron losing it a little bit on that, because you don't have that right. You don't get that right, bro. You don't get that right.
It's a skill to box things out.
Oof.
And to pretend you don't hear it. That is a skill. I saw a video of Joey Votto, the Reds first baseman. Someone was filming his friend trying to bait him into saying something crazy. And Votto said something that makes a lot of sense. He said, you have nothing to lose. I have everything to lose.
Right.
And That's exactly right. People who feel that they have absolutely nothing to lose. What are you going to do? Kick me out of the game? I don't care. Whatever.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's and he's 1,000% right. All right. So as you do your deep dive in getting ready for the draft, what have you been able to unearth for Dolphin fans in that third or fourth rounds? What are the players that Joe Schad says the Dolphins should be looking at in the third or fourth rounds?
Well, I wrote a story a couple of weeks ago that highlighted three centers that I thought would be in the range for the Dolphins. I don't remember their names. I think one guy was from Wisconsin, one was from Kentucky, maybe a
Any
guy from
Boston
Texas
College?
A&M.
Okay. All right. I thought you
Maybe
were gonna say,
Boston. The Boston College guy might be a little later than the third
yeah.
round. Maybe he's
Yeah,
a
he's
fourth
like a
rounder.
fourth or fifth round. Yeah.
And then today I was going to take a look at some running backs, including some with local ties. There's a Florida running back, a Florida
Mm-hmm.
international running back, and then a Georgia running back from Miami whose brother is Dalvin Cook. I was going to look at those three guys because they could all be in that fourth round range.
Mm-hmm.
And you might say, well, did the Dolphins really need another running back? Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because the Dolphins are going to utilize two running backs in the backfield more in the Mike McDaniel offense than they did in previous offenses. And yes, sometimes one will be a fullback, and yes, sometimes one will be a receiver or a tight end. I reposted a story on my Twitter account, Schad Joe, a short time ago. It was a look at like 10 things you should know about the Mike McDaniel offensive scheme. And it really helps people, helps people understand what McDaniel will try to do in order to make the Dolphins offense more effective. So click on that if you get a chance to look back at an old story that I wrote. But yeah, another thing that I've been hearing is that even though the top of the draft is not very intriguing, not a lot of great quarterbacks or receivers,
It's
a lot of
it's a terrible year to
right,
have the first 3, 4, 5 picks in the draft because you're
right.
really not getting like you're getting a good player, but you're not getting that franchise game-changing player. There's not a couple of those. Hell, there's not even considered one in this draft right now as it is. It's crazy, right? This is not one of those drafts that's super sexy at the top.
But because of COVID and because some players chose to take an extra year,
Mhm.
uh, that pushes down more decent players into the third or fourth round. So what I'm telling you is strategically, the Dolphins have done a pretty smart thing here by having two first round picks in the 2023 NFL draft, which is supposed to be really good, and then having picks in that third and fourth round where there's supposed to be a backlog of pretty decent players in this year's draft.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm hoping they can get James Cook or somebody like that in that third or fourth round. I would like to see a bigger one more back that has a little bit more size, a little bit more of a bruiser. I would like to see that be a part of this mix. And I think middle linebacker might be another one that could be viewed in that area in the third and fourth rounds. As I'm doing my digging, there's some of those kind of players that are going to be in that area. So that's kind of the sexy part of the draft for us overall. I think we talked about the events from last week, right? We talked
The
what was it?
Tua
Yeah,
Luau
the
and all that. Yeah.
luau and all that stuff. We covered all of that. All right, good stuff. All right, anything else? Any other nuggets you want to
Well,
share with
I posted a column over the weekend about okay, everybody keeps saying that in relative to Tua that this is a prove it season, and it's a little cliche and it's a little boring and it's a little monotonous. And I listed all the different television shows that have had that same exact conversation, and there was 7 or 8 between Pro Football Talk, ESPN, Fox Sports, NFL Network. It's all the same conversation, make or break, prove it, all that sort of stuff. So I said, well, so I wanted to write about what would a prove it season look like for Tua? What could he actually do to change the so-called narrative? And so I came up with 4 points. And I don't know if you read the column, but they're pretty simple and pretty logical. 1, lead the Dolphins to the playoffs.
right?
2, finish in the top 12 in the NFL in passer rating, which is
Okay.
a very reasonable target. Teddy Bridgewater was 12th. Did you know that Teddy Bridgewater was 12th last year? All right,
Yeah,
so let's go ahead and do better than Teddy Bridgewater.
yeah. You can be a
12th, 12th in the NFL or better in yards per attempt. Tua was 28th or 29th last year. Jimmy Garoppolo, operating the 49ers offense, was second. Those three things, they're specific statistics. We will know at the end of the year, did Tua hit on those three markers? And the fourth
the last one, play design has a lot to do with it. And so that will change this year. And that's where
it should absolutely improve.
It'll get
and
better.
And the addition of Tyreek Hill.
Because these guys, no, but what I mean is the coaching will make life easier for not just Tua, for the offensive linemen, for everybody else, because these guys have a more cerebral approach to what they're doing. You could just see it the way they design everything. It's different, dude. They give their players an opportunity to have an advantage at times because of all the movement. It gets the defense out of place consistently. And when you're doing that, you're giving your players an edge. And if the linebacker's too late to pick up Mostert on the crosser, it's over. Once he crosses the line of scrimmage, it's dumped, and he's gone for 8 or 9 yards. So all these kind of things are going to change. And that third part is one that's going to help everybody, bro. Tyreek, the lineman, the running back, Tua, everybody's going to benefit from play design.
So the fourth one is be a strong leader. Now, Brian Flores questioned Tua Tagovailoa's leadership. Tua was not a captain in 2021. I expect that he will be a captain in 2022. Some have said he didn't want to be a captain. Well, is that great? If he didn't want to be a captain, there's really no great answer to that. So I fully expect that he will step forward and say he wants to be a captain in 2022. He's the quarterback. He should be a captain. No questions asked. That one we'll have to see because, some guys are more vocal leaders. Some guys are just lead by example. But if Tua can hit on all four of those, then I think that there's a very good chance that the Dolphins will bring him back in 2023. Make the playoffs, top 12 in passer rating and quarterback rating, and prove himself to his teammates and his coaches as a leader. Do you agree with that? That if he hits on those four targets, that he'll probably come back?
Well, I know he's going to come back. I know he'll hit those targets. I'm not worried about that. I worry more about what's
around. Do you think that those four targets are fair?
Of course it's fair. It's fair. The difference between you and me is you view Tua more as a problem. I don't view Tua as a problem. I view everything around Tua as the problem, and that's why Tua and others will not succeed or have any kind of big-time success as a team. That's where you and I differ on this. You get better coaching, you get a better running game and better blocking, Tua will do everything that you want. I'm not worried about that. He'll be the leader. He'll be the winner. He'll make the plays. He'll make the throws. Everybody will calm down. Everybody will relax. That's the difference. I don't see Tua as the problem. I don't believe that he has all this stuff to live up to. I think everybody else has stuff to live up to in order to help him succeed.
I don't think that Tua is a problem. I think that Tua has to prove that he's the answer.
Okay.
So there's a difference there. It's not the same.
Oh, no, not really, because I feel that he can only prove if he's the answer if you do your part. You're not going to have a successful marriage if the bitch is going out on the street and banging everybody else. But if the woman loves you and protects you and respects you and is there for you and meets you halfway in everything, then the relationship works out. In my eyes, Tua has done his part. Unfortunately, everyone around him has failed miserably, and that has made him look bad. That's the way I look at it.
Well, I think he has a very
two-and-on view of it is. That's my two-and-on view of it.
I think he has a very good chance to meet the goals that I laid out for him, to be top 12 in passer rating, yards per attempt, to lead his team. Now, in that lead his team to the playoffs, that of course means that he'll have to be, available in most all of the games. That goes without saying. He's going to have to, stay on the field. Now, of course, injuries happen, especially to quarterbacks. You get a finger, you get a rib, you get an ankle, you get a knee, you get a concussion. Injuries happen, but for Tua, it would be really good for him if he could get through the whole season or most of the season, 15 starts, 14 starts, at least 14 starts. That would be that would make a big statement.
I'm with you there. All right, what are you working on the Palm Beach Post so folks can check you out, my man?
Well, I'm going to look into those running backs today. I believe it's Pierce from Florida, Price from FIU, and Cook from Georgia. I want to kind of dig into their strengths and weaknesses and how they might fit in that outside zone scheme that Mike McDaniel plans to bring to the Dolphins, where the running back runs towards the outside leg of the blocking tight end. Probably not Mike Gesicki. Maybe a Shaheen or a Smythe.
I don't know, those arms,
Carter.
bro. You saw those arms?
They got bigger.
You didn't notice those arms from Gesicki? Those were tree trunks, bro.
He was lifting beer cans in Bora Bora.
I don't know. He was talking all that Kittle talk. I think he hit the weights there.
I asked him about Kittle. To be fair, I asked him about Kittle in terms of how his route running is similar or dissimilar to what he's done in the past. And, it's going to be a change of scheme for him. So that's why I think this 1 year look-see, 1 year wait and see, I think that's really good for both parties.
Yes. That to me, there is where I'm with you on the wait and see. Will they bring him back next year? The Tua thing, no, but I'm with you on the Gesicki one because obviously they need to see if he fits. And I think if you see his arms, you can tell he's doing some weight. So maybe he's looking to pick up the blocking a little bit, or they told him. I don't think he'll ever be an inline blocker, but he's going to, in this scheme, Joe, he's going to have to pick up some safeties and some linebackers. He's going to have to pick up some blocks in the open field to help out.
His technique is a little better. Yeah, his technique was terrible as a rookie.
Right.
It's a little better now. So you can get it. You can get in the way. Yeah, you can get in the way. If you use this, John Embry might help him. He complimented John Embry.
Yes.
This John Embry might help him. He's had a few tight ends coaches. This guy might be pretty good. So yeah, check out that article I tweeted about the 10 things you need to know to understand how Mike McDaniel's offense works. Read the Tua column that I wrote over the weekend about what exactly a Tua prove-it season looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And also look out for that thing I'm going to work on with the running backs that might be available to the Dolphins in the 3rd, 4th round.
Check it out at the Palm Beach Post. More importantly, subscribe and support my man Joe and all the other great writers like Hal Habit, of course. They're at the Palm Beach Post.
I love Hal.
And hey, my man Tom D'Angelo's there too. I love Tommie.
Hal's arguably more talented than me. You could make that argument. One might make that argument.
Well, he's better looking than you. We all know that already because we know he's Mr. GQ as it is. So, it is what it is. We all dream to be Hal Habit one day. It's just one of those things. He's a chick magnet. I mean, you go on the road with Hal and it's just he's fending off the women left and right. It's just it's impressive. I'm telling you, it's impressive. So follow him on Twitter at Schad Joe. There you go. And catch his work at the Palm Beach Post. Joe, much love. We'll catch up later in the week, my friend. Thank you.
See you, buddy.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Schad.
When you ready.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.